Hi guys! Yesterday we learned about levers. Today we're going to learn about another simple machine, the wheel and axle. This simple machine involves two circular objects, a large disc and a smaller cylinder, both joined at the center. So if you have just a wheel by itself and just an axle by itself and they're not joined, that is not a simple machine. They have to be connected. The larger disc is called the wheel, and the smaller cylindrical object or rod is referred to as the axle. Sometimes there may be two wheels attached to both ends of the axle, and we see this in our vehicles. My son has a little toy tractor, and as you can see, there's two wheels, and then across the center in here is an axle. Okay. If you look closely at how a wheel and axle works, you will notice that it's kind of like a lever. Here, an action on the axle, so turning the axle, will cause an output at the other end. The wheels turn too. The fulcrum is where the axle meets the wheel. So where those connect, that's your fulcrum. The wheel and axle work in two basic ways. One way is for us to apply force to the wheel. We'll take a screwdriver, for example. This is the wheel, and this is the axle. When I apply force on the wheel, it's going to also turn the axle. So on my son's tractor, for example, there's a little screw in here. You see how I'm turning the wheel? And it's going to remove that little screw in there. And then I could take the bottom off, which you guys are going to like because you're going to get to see what a wheel and axle looks like that has a wheel on both ends. And another way is to apply force to the axle, and that's where this little tractor tire comes in handy. So do you see how we have our tires on both ends? And this centerpiece is the axle right here where they connect, and this one's kind of easy to see because it's yellow, but it's not always that easy to see. That's the fulcrum. And in the case of a vehicle, the force gets applied to the axle. So when you hit that gas pedal, it's applying force to this centerpiece, and as this turns, it causes the tires, the wheels to turn. Okay, and those are your two examples of wheels and axles. If you have questions, I really want you to reach out to me on Unified Classroom this week because it's going to be the easiest way for me to explain things to you. And if you do a Zoom meeting with us, I can share my screen with you, which is really nice because then you can see what I'm working with as I'm working with it. And then we can stop when you have questions and I can explain it a little bit further. Okay, for tonight's homework, you're going to have a worksheet. You're not going to build any wheels or axles, and I don't want you to take any of your toys apart at home. Your mom and dad would be mad at me. So just answer the worksheet. You're going to define wheel and axle. I want you to label the two parts of the screwdriver. The first part you're going to label is the wheel, and the second part is the axle. So I want you to tell me both parts. True or false, a wheel alone is an example of a simple machine. If you need to, go back and rewatch the video. And then I want to review from the rest of the week. So I want you to list two examples of a wheel and axle, two examples of a lever, and two uses for a pulley. Okay? Message me if you have any questions. Bye, guys. Thanks for working so hard today.